All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our channel. I'm Sabrina from S&K Beads and Charms. I started my YouTube channel to give free help to everybody that's just starting out on Etsy. Right now, this series is going to be the basic how to do things to set up shop. Your basics of, how to set up a listing, where to click on what, how do you get the variations set, how do you set up shipping profiles, all of those kinds of things that nobody ever tells you how to do and you're left to figure out all on your own. So the first thing we're going to do is get ready to set up your shop. How do you actually go about doing that, getting your account set up, all of that stuff. On our previous video, and I'll put a link to that in case you haven't watched it, we talked about how to pick your product, how to figure out if it was going to sell or not, what kind of things you might want to sell, and how do you go about making that decision whether starting a shop is right for you. So now we're going to look at what you do next about actually opening up shop. Where do you go? And we're going to show you exactly how to do it. There's a link that you can use so you get 40 free listings, so you can start out and you can list your first 40 free things for absolutely free. So I'm going to switch to that and we're going to move over to that now. Basically, when you get ready to sign up for your Etsy shop, you can follow this link below and I will attach it down underneath the video. The first step to opening up is going to be to have an email and password to log in, sign your account. Once you get in, you've got to have a name ready so that you can name your shop. Now, before you do that, there's a little bit of research you need to do ahead of time. It is very, very important to do that. So you're going to have to put in your payment details in case they have to bill you for something, whatever. You got to get all of that set up, your address that you're going to be shipping from, that kind of thing. We'll walk through later on how to get all of those details done. But you're going to first pick a name. You're going to get the name of your shop. When you do this, you're going to sit down, write at least 3 names down that you think you might possibly want to use based on whatever product it is you have chosen to sell. Now, the reason I'm saying pick 3 or 4 even is because what if somebody has already used that name? There's thousands of sellers on there. A lot of people come up with the same name ideas, so you got to have some different options in case the one that you really wanted is already taken by another seller. So you want to do your research. Here's the thing, very, very important. While you're doing your research, not only check and see if you think there's another shop that might possibly have it on Etsy, you want to check and see if the .com is available. You may not be ready to start your own personal website yet, probably very far from it. But if you're thinking of making this a full-time business and want full-time income from it, at some point you're going to want your .com. So you want to make sure it's available. And you may even want to go ahead and claim it. It's like between $15 and $20 a year to claim it. Then you own it and nobody else can take it. I personally own about 4 because any of the ones that go with my business, I wanted to make sure I had them. So I have S&K Beads and Charms, S&K Charms and Beads, S&K Hand Stamp Designs, S&K Personalized Designs. I'm not sure if I have one more, but I know I have at least 4. That way I own them. Nobody can steal my name and use it. Here's why you're going to do that. So you want to make sure it's available first for Etsy and as a .com. You want to know nobody else has used it. Here's a reason why. I know 2 people I'm going to give you examples of that one's a small little business, one's a big business that didn't do their research and really check this out ahead of time, and they paid dearly for it in the end. One lady that's local had a little boutique down the street, downtown, nothing big, never thought anything of it. She came up with a name, the Eclectic Peach Boutique, opened up, Started her little Facebook page, because Facebook doesn't check on the name, and 2 or 3 people can use the same name. They don't care. So it was available. She could do that on Facebook, no problems. Got her signs, branding, bags for her shop, boxes for her shop, the whole 9 yards. She'd been open about a month. She gets contact from a lawyer. There was another shop that was on Facebook, basically selling from Facebook with the same name. They were an online website-based company. They found out she had a shop. They were going to sue her for using the same name, even though they were in completely different states. She didn't have a .com, hadn't even thought about having a .com. Obviously, she wasn't going to be able to get it because they already own it. But in the end, to keep from having to go to court and pay fines and all this stuff, she ended up having to change her name of her shop. Brand new sign, trashed, had to get a new sign, all new branding, all new box. Turned out to be a big mess, cost a lot of money. So, because she didn't check and make sure. She didn't Google it, didn't check, didn't find out there was a Facebook page or anything else to go with it. So, it cost her a few $1,000s. Another instance, right down the road from me in Mount Olive, North Carolina, was Andy's Restaurant. Now, no, or formerly Andy's Restaurant. It's now known as Highway 55. Same thing. The guy that owned it named it after his kid, started in a little town of Mount Olive, North Carolina, in a little storefront off of Highway 55. It got bigger, bigger, and bigger, and they have several locations now. They also have decided to commence the franchise to go nationwide outside of North Carolina, because they have several in North Carolina. When they got ready to expand, guess what happens? They find out there's another restaurant. I don't think it was the same style, because the one here is more of a 50s soda shop back kind of theme. And the other one was like a little diner kind of thing called Andy's in another state. They found out Andy's Corporation was trying to expand, and this little rundown, little storefront sandwich shop place decided to go after them over the name, because it turns out they had used the name first by a few weeks. And I think the one here was Andy's Burger Shakes and Fries, and that one was Andy's Burger Shakes and Fries, or something like that. So, or something similar enough that it was going to court, and they tried to fight it. He did not win. The other place proved they had it a couple of weeks earlier by searching back through records and so forth. So, long story shorter, the Andy's here had to completely rebrand every store in North Carolina. Every franchise they had sold all had to have brand new signage, brand new cups, brand new menus. Everything had to be completely redone. They had to come up with a new name. They had to change the name on the corporate building in Mount Olive, because they have a nice big building. Everything had to be redone. The best they could do was call it Highway 55, because it was originally started on Highway 55 in Mount Olive, and they went with the same colors and the same theme, so they didn't have to change quite as much. But in the end, it still cost them a lot of money. So you want to make sure about that beforehand. They had had the name for 15 years before this became a problem, because they never thought about the fact that later on down the road, if they expanded, there could be another Andy's. So check that first. It's not fun. Next, we'll be talking about what you do after you get your name in and get your account set up. Where do you go from there? Follow the link below. Sign up for our YouTube channel so you don't miss the next one. I'll put a link in there for the previous video about how to pick what you're going to do, and so you can sign up with those 40 free listings.